A babysitter begins to suspect that the children she's looking after are not what they seem, after discovering a series of disturbing drawings and experiencing a growing sense of dread within their seemingly perfect suburban home. It was supposed to be an easy job. The Millers were the perfect family, living in a perfect house in a perfect neighborhood. 2 kids, Emily, age 8, and Tom, age 6, bright, well-behaved, and according to their parents, easy as pie. The pay was good, the hours were reasonable, and frankly, I needed the money. My name is Sarah, and I was a college student trying to make ends meet. I'd babysat plenty of times before, but there was something about the Millers that felt off. It wasn't anything I could put my finger on, just a subtle undercurrent of unease that settled over me the moment I stepped through the front door. The house was immaculate, almost sterile, not a thing out of place. Family photos adorned the walls, each one depicting the Millers with picture-perfect smiles, their eyes gleaming with an almost unsettling intensity. Emily and Tom were polite, quiet, almost eerily so. They followed instructions without complaint, ate their dinner without fussing, and went to bed without a single protest. But their smiles were wrong. Too wide, too constant, as if they were glued in place. And their eyes, they seemed to watch me, even when their heads were turned away. The first night was uneventful, almost boring. I checked on the kids a few times, finding them asleep in their beds, their smiling faces illuminated by the soft glow of their nightlights. But as I sat in the living room, flipping through channels on the TV, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The next day, while the kids were playing in their room, I started tidying up. That's when I found them. A stack of drawings hidden beneath a pile of toys in the corner of Emily's room. They were crayon drawings, the kind you'd expect from a child, but the subject matter was disturbing. Stick figures with wide, exaggerated smiles, surrounded by other figures that were faceless and gray. In some drawings, the smiling figures were holding hands, forming a circle around the gray figures. In others, the gray figures were lying on the ground, their bodies contorted in unnatural positions. And in every drawing, in the corner of the page, there was a small, crudely drawn symbol. A circle with a single vertical line through it. I felt a chill run down my spine. These weren't the drawings of a normal child. These were the drawings of a child who had seen something terrible. That evening, I asked Emily about the drawings. She just smiled, that same unsettling smile, and said, "They're the smiling ones. They're our friends." Tom, who was usually silent, chimed in. "They like to play games." "What kind of games?" I asked, trying to keep my voice light. "Hide and seek," Emily replied, her smile widening. "But they're very good at hiding." "And they don't like to be found," Tom added, his voice barely a whisper. That night, the feeling of being watched intensified. I kept catching glimpses of movement in the shadows, hearing faint whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The house, once just sterile, now felt menacing. I tried to distract myself with a movie, but the images on the screen seemed to blur and distort, the actors' faces twisting into grotesque parodies of smiles. I turned it off, the silence of the house even more unsettling than the distorted images. Then I heard it. A giggle, faint but unmistakable, coming from upstairs. It was Emily's giggle, but it sounded different. Wrong. I went to check on the kids. Their room was dark, the only light coming from the hallway. Their beds were empty. "Emily," I called out, my voice trembling slightly. "Tom?" Another giggle, and this time closer, from the closet. My heart pounded in my chest. I slowly approached the closet, my hand reaching for the doorknob. I hesitated, a primal fear gripping me. "We're playing hide and seek, Sarah," a voice whispered. A voice that sounded like both Emily and Tom speaking in unison. "Come find us." I threw open the closet door, empty. Then I felt it. A cold breath on my neck. I spun around, but there was nothing there. Just the empty room, the shadows dancing in the corners, and the faint, chilling sound of children's laughter echoing from somewhere deep within the house. I ran. I ran out of the room, down the stairs, and into the living room. I grabbed my phone, my hands shaking so badly I could barely dial. I called the police, but the line was dead, static. Then I saw them. Standing in the hallway, bathed in the pale moonlight streaming through the window, were Emily and Tom. Their smiles were wider than ever, stretching their faces into grotesque masks. Their eyes were black, empty, like the eyes of the figures in the drawings. Behind them, in the shadows, I saw more figures. Tall, thin figures with elongated limbs and wide, impossibly wide smiles. The smiling ones. They were real. "We told you they were good at hiding," Emily said, her voice distorted, echoing. "Now it's your turn to hide," Tom added, his voice a chilling mirror of his sister's. The smiling ones began to advance, their movements jerky and unnatural, their wide smiles never wavering. I backed away, stumbling, my mind screaming in terror. I was trapped, alone with these things. The phone was found on the floor of the living room, the screen cracked. It was unlocked, open to a notes app. A single, unfinished entry was displayed, filled with frantic, barely legible scrawl. Most of it was gibberish, a jumble of letters and symbols. But the last few lines were clear. "They're not just drawings, they're real, they're here. The smiling ones. They came from the page. They came from the words. I made them real. And now they want me to play. They want me to smile. They want me to join them. I can hear them whispering just behind me. They're always smiling, always. And the page, it's blank again, waiting for someone else to fill it, waiting for